Friends, and I thank you for joining us today. Today I have a special guest today, Dustin, and she is going to talk to you a little bit about her journey and all her experiences, personal experiences, and how she came to this place in her life for bringing change to your life, for setting new goals, bringing yourself into another direction. We're just going to speak to you a little bit about direction and change today. So, how are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Wonderful.
Just to let you guys know, I'm not usually one to be in front of the camera, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to do my best here with Drema. So.
Oh, you're doing good. You're doing good. Perfect. Okay. So, give me a little bit, give everybody a little idea of a thing about yourself. You know, introduce yourself and what you do and who you are.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Dustin, and about, I'd say 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I had a pretty profound change that kind of set my life on a different course. And in that, I've gotten into personal development. I'm an entrepreneur, as you know,
Yes.
just kind of in different things. I've fallen in love with really becoming aware. I've fallen in love with creating connections with people, and this really just started in a couple of key decisions in my life that I just decided that I was going to commit to. So I've studied in I'm a Reiki master.
Okay.
I've studied in massage therapy. I do a lot of just holistic kind of healing.
Okay.
So just kind of as a background, that's where I'm coming from.
Yep, I believe that's why Spirit sort of connected us.
Absolutely.
Because we flow in the same direction. We're sort of just on the same energy.
Oh,
energy
absolutely.
wave. So that's why it's all
Absolutely.
connected. So she's beautiful experience. Okay, so what would you say is the biggest personal shift that Spirit has brought into your life?
So again, about 3.5 years ago, I started getting some messages, and just to give you kind of a little bit of background of where I was before that, I was in a very high, stressful corporate job. I was making really, really good money, and I was miserable. I was overeating. I was eating tons of sugar. I was drinking every single night. I was smoking 2.5 packs of cigarettes a day.
Wow.
I was absolutely depressed. I was on pain medication, sleep medication. I mean, every kind of trying to medicate way possible.
Yeah.
And I was living out in Hudsonville, and I was laying on the couch all of the time. And I started one day I wanted to go for a walk, and I went for a walk, and it was one of the most painful things in my life. And I realized that if just going for a walk was that painful, that I was probably in trouble.
Yeah.
And that I wasn't on a very good path for happiness. I was
health
not for health or anything like that.
Yeah.
I had lost my purpose. I had lost my dreams. I had lost everything, and I knew that this was kind of a place that I was giving up on.
Okay.
So in that, I started getting these messages about what self-love meant.
Yeah.
And with the smoking, the question that kept kind of repeating itself to me was, how could I pretend to love anybody else? Because I love people. I try and fall in love with every single person that I meet.
Yes.
But I really asked myself the question that how could I truly love to the level that I wanted to love if I didn't love myself?
Right.
And if I was practicing an act that was hurting myself and actually killing myself every time that I was doing it.
Yeah.
So
Very
I
powerful.
decided that I was going to quit smoking.
Wow. Okay.
And I started taking Chantix, and I kind of felt, in the beginning, like, have you ever seen that movie Lucy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where this drug gets in her system and
Yeah.
everything kind of opens up.
Yeah.
Well, I was on so many different medications, and with the Chantix, that's supposed to be like a mental... It was designed for your brain. I kind of wondered if maybe something hadn't come together and like that,
like, boom,
in my head, and
Yeah.
the way that I was speaking and what I was tapping into. I started, like I said, that decision to quit smoking. It triggered it all, and
Wow.
I started hearing these messages come through about self-love and about not being perfect and about being humble and forgiveness.
That's
and
awesome.
like all of these things that I had never ever allowed myself to experience before. And
Wow.
from that, I mean, I had some shifting moments, and I don't think that there was this ultimate sense of trust. And I just knew that the decisions that I was making, like, were ultimately they were setting me on my path to my purpose, and it was opening my heart. It's made me more compassionate. It's made me kinder.
How important do you feel is self-love?
I think self-love is where it all begins, because I feel like if you don't love yourself, that again, you don't know how to love somebody else, because you have to touch yourself with that kind of tenderness. You have to touch yourself with that kind of forgiveness, because if you don't, you're just looking at other people and judging.
Yes.
Because
you're spinning in that judgment all the time.
And you're holding yourself
and
back.
And that's who you start judging the most.
Absolutely.
Yourself. You're constantly criticizing and holding yourself in, what would you like, a place of judgment, but I'm thinking like,
it's fear. I mean, it's darkness. It holds you back in everything.
Yes,
it holds you back in everything.
Yeah.
And if you look around in our society, we have become human beings that don't have a huge amount of connection with people. We're very instant gratification oriented. We're not taking a look at the inside anymore. And that
social media has really produced. We produced people that are
absolutely.
I have 5,000 friends, and none of them know me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I started actually doing a YouTube channel that kind of put myself behind the camera, where it's pushing me past my comfort zone, because the way that with all of the changes that I've made, with everything that I'm doing, why I'm doing this is because I want a greater sense of love in my life. I want a greater sense of purpose in my life. I want to, every single person that comes into my life, I want to have a big impact on. I want them to be better because of me. I want them to be better because they want to love themselves.
Awesome.
And I guess doing some of the things that I'm doing right now is just, it's constantly putting myself outside of my comfort zone, trying to break through my limitations, because I want to be that support for everybody around me. And that's really what got me into the personal development, is I felt like my purpose was, if I can be strong enough, if I can live true enough, then I can be, that huge support in everybody else's life around me. And I'm also realizing that there's quite a few people, since I opened my eyes, as I call it, there's quite a few people that feel the same way, and that are living lives with that kind of integrity, and trying to live with that kind of purpose too. So that's really been inspiring.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when you come into self-love and accepting yourself, it will ripple out, like you're saying, to everything around us. Our whole life is going to come into an alignment that we can't even conceive. But I think that we are trained, when children are really small, they're trained to fall into patterns.
Oh, absolutely.
And if their child is when you have a child and you contribute to the pattern, their parents and those adults around them contribute to these patterns that they grow up into, whether they have great, huge imagination. I just wrote an article last night about children that are intuitive, or they're gifted, and they go around and they say, well, I see this, I have an invisible dog, and the parents that say, oh really, that's awesome, tell me more about it, or the ones that push them down, that is going to build up that, so that when they're, where they get up to it, becoming an adult, what has been knocked down is something that is very hard to pull it back up after.
Absolutely.
So then you grow into into this place of, I don't even know if I love myself, or am I able to trust my own intuition? Am I able, so you go through things.
Oh, absolutely.
Brings you through. So
and when you're, the younger that you are, that you start kind of getting that conditioning behavior.
Yes.
I mean, it may happen, it may happen once, and it may be something that hurt. So in that decision, you decided you were going to pull back from that.
Yeah.
So all you've done is just repeat that pattern your entire life. So one thing in the personal development that I'm doing is if you can recognize that and realize it's just a learned behavior.
Yes.
You can break it. You can take the opposite.
That's right.
And I will tell you because, along with all that medication, I've also suffered from depression my entire life.
Yeah.
Self-sabotaging, ups, downs, really highs, and, really lows.
Yep.
And, finding some of these distinctions and learning some of these strategies, there were days that I was so anxious, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed like I was before, feeling hopeless or helpless, or I just decided that whatever decision I would have made in the past, I made the completely opposite decision.
That's awesome.
Because at least I knew that I wasn't going to come out in the same place.
Yeah, you have to
so
stop.
It's,
stop the cycle.
As women, I think we really get caught up in that idea of perfection, that idea of not knowing which way to go, and so we don't even try.
We have a false standard that's set before us.
Everywhere
we look, in media, in magazines, everywhere we look, this false standard of this is the ideal woman, this is the ideal mother. They can do everything. You're Wonder Woman. You can work 50 hours a week and raise 3 children and keep a perfect house and a happy husband, and you got it going on, girl.
Right.
And that's an illusion.
Right.
It's not real. Those women on the magazines have been airbrushed.
Right, absolutely.
It's not real.
And how miserable are so many of those women. Because and you and I know that beauty does not come from the outside.
No.
Now, absolutely, there are beautiful people, but I have been around plenty of people that I felt were very attractive, and as soon as they started talking, their light, they dimmed their light quite a bit. And so they, that's not what makes people attractive.
No.
But I think it's back to that mindset of not being perfect. Okay,
right.
It's perfectly okay for you not to know what to do, because we're, I think I told you before, I feel like we're hot messes because we've practiced this for so long. So it's just a matter of practicing a different decision.
Yes.
So if you don't know what to decide, literally, if there's something in your life that you don't like, look at the decisions that you've made that have gotten you there, and be honest about it.
That's
because if you know what those decisions are, if you do the complete opposite, you will end up in a different place.
That's right. That's good.
And it's scary. It's uncomfortable. It can be fearful, but don't let that stop you, because you can turn it into being exciting. You can turn it into being confident. You can turn it into being strong. You can turn it into whatever you want, and it's just practicing literally one thing at a time, one little thing, and it's just practicing it over and over again, and you form a new learned pattern. So, today I don't consider myself a depressive person. And I bet you the people that have been around me for the last 2.5 years would honestly tell you that I'm probably one of the most positive people that they're around these days.
Yes.
And that's, that takes work. It takes work to change, and by far I have so much work to go. But I think the decision that I made in my life is I wasn't going to give up this time.
Yes.
I was going to continue to keep going and to keep building, and and accept the days that are, a struggle, and accept it and know that those days make me stronger.
Yes.
And, and I guess in that mindset too, what it does is it opens you up to possibility.
Yes.
And you know how much possibility there is.
Yeah. That's huge. I think that possibility is right under intention. You setting your intention, but then staying open to possibility.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's like, I have a sign downstairs that says that. It's all in possibility.
Yeah.
And as soon as you set an idea, this is an outcome. What is it? You set the outcome in your own mind. This is the way it's going to be. And it doesn't happen that way. And then you're faced with the situation. Then you have a choice.
Right.
So if you don't set any predetermined outcome, you're not disappointed. Yeah. That's right. You stay in possibility. That's why I tell everybody, stay in possibility. It can go any way you want.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
do you want? So this is really, we're just here to encourage you. I wanted to introduce you to her.
Absolutely.
And what is your YouTube channel so people can check it out?
It's Here's to Paying It Forward, and it's the number 2, not 2. So it's Here's to Paying It Forward on YouTube.
Okay, cool. And that is awesome. And just so you check her out. I've watched her blogs. They're really interesting.
Thank
yes,
you.
they're interesting. She's going through this process, and what she's doing is she's like an onion. She's peeling her layers in front of you. She's just letting the layers come off and just saying, this is the real deal. This is what it's all about, and which is really cool.
Yeah.
And so that's really awesome. I just want to encourage everybody. So we want to give you some words of encouragement today. So give us some words of encouragement that you would say to viewers today.
Well, I think the first thing for everybody to look at in kind of the process that I try and live by is, awareness into practice into mastery. So whatever it is that you want to change in your life, whatever it is that you want to do, become aware of it. Know what that looks like to you. Have a picture in your head. Have something that inspires your heart. Have something that captivates that passion. And do one thing in that direction and just practice it. Yes. Because what you'll find out is that gives you forward momentum. It gives you strength. It gives you stability. And it gives you confidence because you are practicing something and you've made a commitment to do it over and over again. And at first it's going to be one thing, and then as you start to get stronger, as you start to build up some resilience, some determination, some confidence behind you, you can do 100 different things, and it's just as easy as doing those one, because you've learned, to take each step with purpose, to take each step to be your best self, and just know that there are going to be days that are going to be a struggle, and that's okay, and just take a deep breath.
Yes.
Anchor yourself a little bit. Breath is so important.
It is. Yes.
Take a deep breath, and you'll get through it. And when you need inspiration, visit your page or visit my page, or look for it, because it's out there.
Yes.
And those are going to be the things that carry you through a bad day, so you can get on to your best day.
Yes, that's right. What do you think of Reiki and what it does for people?
It's interesting because the way that I do Reiki is probably a little bit different than other people do. I incorporate a lot of massage with it.
Okay.
But
I was going to see you.
Yeah.
I could use that.
But my hands get really, really hot.
Wow, okay.
And I know that my path and my purpose is to get people out of their get people out of their pain.
Yes.
So it really starts with this intense heat.
Okay.
And it's amazing, and it's amazing what other people experience, and
Yes.
it's amazing what I experience with it, but it's just a circulation and a movement, and the way that kind of I work with it is it sort of starts you off in that place of being encompassed in warmth.
Okay.
Which to me is kind of where we came from.
Yes, totally.
So it gets people in a very secure,
place.
very trusting, very, very healing space.
That's awesome.
And, that's, and it's something that I practice on myself too.
Yes,
So
that's good. That's good. Well, I know a few different Reiki healers, and everyone does their healing differently.
Oh, absolutely.
I think, and so I just wanted to see how you do yours, so people can connect with you on that even, and say, hey, I need some of that.
Well, one thing with you were talking about kind of peeling back the layers, it's absolutely 100% true that everybody has a different path in life, and everybody has different skills, everybody has different gifts.
Yes.
One of my gifts is to not be afraid of this.
Yeah.
Again, because it's everyone that's watching this video, it's everybody that's out there, it's every human being that I want to feel connected with. Yeah. So on that level, I don't mind being honest. I don't mind being truthful, and I'm willing to put myself out there and to show you, like, hey, my heart is still open.
Yeah.
And it's got forgiveness, and it's got compassion.
Well,
and
that's really what the world's looking for. They're looking for the real deal.
Oh, absolutely.
They're looking for people that'll be like, hey, I'm exposing myself. I'm making myself vulnerable to you because this is my real self.
Right.
I have had these struggles.
Yeah.
And I am coming forward and I'm growing into a much higher dimension, a higher consciousness, a higher place.
Absolutely.
And it's so powerful, and it's very, I mean, that's how I want to present myself. This is the real deal. This is who I am. I'm a little eccentric and fun, and I like stuff, and I love hair, and it's, you know, that's just who I am, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to, you know, just be myself, and I want to embrace everybody the same way.
Well, absolutely, because again, we're all different. You know,
right.
We're all unique. We all have something to bring to the table.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You know, and kind of the way, and you can think about things in, like, if we were all our own color.
Yeah.
You know,
that's so cool to think.
And how many
rainbow.
beautiful colors are out there.
Yes.
So awesome. if you can really embrace that in yourself, and you know, realize that it is a journey, and it is a process, and you know, it's not always easy, especially that moment. You know, and as a healer, and you know this too, sometimes you have to work through the pain.
Yes.
You know, you have to get to that place of pain first, and that can be a very humbling experience.
Yes.
Whether it's in your body, whether it's in your emotion, whether it's mentally, it can bring you to your knees. But trust that is where you want to start.
That's right.
Absolutely, because that place, when you start there, you build on a solid foundation.
Yes.
And that is going to give you, no matter what you do in this life, that is going to give you some connection. That is going to give you love. That is going to give you like ultimate happiness.
Yes.
You know, in whatever you're doing.
That's right.
That's going to carry you through anything, and that's going to touch so many people's lives.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Well, I want to thank you for this
Well,
little chat
you
time.
too.
This has been perfect, beautiful, and I hope we can do this again. This would be great.
Absolutely,
I would love to do it again.
I
and
would
just
absolutely love this.
Open up some more subjects, because I think that we
Yeah.
both could. It would just be beautiful.
Absolutely.
And so thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys so much
for
too. I
joining
appreciate
us.
it.
Yes, you have a fantastic day. We love you. We
Happy Friday.
send you healing and beauty and all the things that you need today. Let this message just speak to your heart, and feel free to contact either one of us.
Yeah.
We would love to hear feedback, and subscribe to this channel. Okay, we love you, and check out www.destinywords.org. Love you. Talk to you later.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.